Hi everyone, it's Promise Oderano again. Please ignore the noise. I think my neighbors are working. Alright, so today I want to speak shortly on something that I see in America that we don't practice in Nigeria, being that we pick up the form of government that we're practicing from America. And that is the power of the judiciary. The power of the judiciary. The judiciary is seen as the highest authority in the land. In Nigeria, it's as if the executive is the highest authority in the land. The judiciary seems to be under the executive. And I say this to say there should be independence of the three arms of government. But at the same time, when it comes to enforcement, you will see in America that the Supreme Court is the highest form of authority. It oversees even the president, which is the highest level of executive. So if you have watched series like Power or Power Book 2, or if you watch series like Suits, the one that Meghan Markle starred in, or if you watch series like Free Ration, you will understand the powers of legal practitioners, power of attorney generals, or power of even lawyers, right? You will understand why these people are extremely expensive to afford. In Nigeria, they still pay a lot of money for lawyers, but lawyers don't have that kind of authority that executives have. In Nigeria, the executive seems to be the most powerful. Do you understand? And follow me, you understand what I'm trying to say. So, say for example, in Nigeria, a court can say something and DSS will refuse to do it, or government or governor will refuse to do it. They believe they have some level of immunity, that some people are untouchable. In the US, it doesn't work like that. In South America, where you have the drug lords and all of that, the government still reserves some. No matter how much you are a drug baron, no matter how powerful you are, the government seems to be higher than you in a way, because if the police is corrupt, they will bring the military. They will bring some special forces that will manage to keep you in check somehow, no matter how powerful you are. So I'm saying this to say that in Nigeria, when I look at the situation of our judiciary, how helpless they are, because they have to rely on the executive to sort of pay them, decide their paychecks and all of that. It makes me feel so weak, because at the end of the day, they are helpless, and if they are helpless, they cannot help the common man. Now, people can easily come and brag about who they are, because they know they can easily go to a police station, pay the police, and pick them up to go and arrest somebody. So it has been bastardized. Now, if you watch in America, a lawyer is the person that are the sought after kind of people for bailing people or all those kind of things. But in Nigeria, all you need to do is money. You don't need to. Yes, they work with lawyers, but it's not the ideal thing. It's about, do you know somebody that can place one or two calls? Do you understand? So our lawyers in practice are not. So this thing will make sense for those who have watched these series that I'm talking about. If you've watched Suits, or if you've watched Power Book, or if you've watched, you will notice that the law is always on the neck of people who are committing crime. And who are the law? These lawyers. They are called prosecutors. They could be lawyers that are working for the police. There could be lawyers that are working for the government. Even there are some movies I've watched about Colombia, about Mexico. The same thing applies. It's always from the DA's office, Attorney General or the District Attorney. These are the people that are going after the high and ranking, what do you call it, criminal elements or gangs in the society. They're the ones that go after these people. In Nigeria, I don't see no prosecution. You will see names named, you will see whistleblower, and in America or elsewhere in the West, what you also see is that journalists especially the investigative journalists, always work with the prosecutors that are working for the government arms of government. Yeah. So for example, the DA's office, the Ministry of Justice, prosecutors, those are the people that work with this investigative journalist. So anybody can whistleblow, give it to a journalist or give it to a media house, and then the next thing, the prosecutor that is working for the government will use that information to go after the said person or go after the culprit. In Nigeria, we don't have anything like that. We don't have any prosecutor lawyers. We don't see them. We don't hear them. All we have is names given and titles given without any, I mean, the only person that came close to do the work of what a federal prosecutor or a state prosecutor could have achieved is this Chief Okoi Obono-Obla. But these are things that ordinarily Americans do, the British do. So you should have a prosecutor that works for the federal government, who should have the highest power in the land. And journalists supposed to work with these offices, right? So that if they get any information, a credible information, they will give it to the prosecutor. The prosecutor will subpoena them or file a case or get an arrest warrant from the DA's office or from the Attorney General's office, go after these people. But rather, what we have in Nigeria is that a criminal that have made money walks into a police station. In fact, in Nigeria, every criminal, every rich person have the numbers of the commissioners. That is how bastardized the policing system in Nigeria has been. So everybody has the phone of the commissioner or IG. You will see them going to parties. You will see a lot of our policemen flocking around rich people. They don't have the time to do the actual work, which is safeguarding the lives and property. And that's why you will have a bomb being set off in Boronu. They don't do their work. They are being swayed. They are being swayed. Names were mentioned of people who are in police. Okay, the Chief Okoi Obono-Obla's interview with Sheun on my podcast, he mentioned Abakiali. America has requested Abakiali to come for questioning. Nigeria has been pretending that he has one case or the other, and now they freed him. He's free, but he was requested. Why not extradite the man to go and answer work? They will not do that because, of course, the man has their secrets. The former high-ranking police officer, I've forgotten his position in the police, but he's one of the top high-ranking police officers in Abakiali that have been requested by America, right, to be extradited. They've not done that. And the reason is because even his name came up in this podcast. So you find out that the criminal elements in Nigeria are working with the connivance of the police. So how then can they work with a prosecutor? If the shepherd are the ones eating the sheep and the goats, how then do you want the shepherd to go and catch the person that is supposedly supposed to be stealing or taking the flocks? No, because they are the culprit. So in Nigeria, what we have is the criminal is our police. So at the end of the day, they steal and steal and steal until they are okay. And then they use also their instrument, Yakubu Mahmoud, to come and do another election and put in another set of criminals. That's why Nigeria is a hopeless case. Extremely hopeless. The corruption has eaten deep and it has gone deep and rot, and there is no reward system for good officers. There is no reward system. There are people who have come to blow whistle in the army. Where are they today? Forgotten. There are people who have come to blow whistle in the police. Where are they today? Forgotten. There is no reward system. There is no protection. What happens in America or elsewhere is that when you are a whistleblower, you go under protection. I'm talking about 24-hour protection. Nobody will know where you are, and they change your location from time to time. In places like Colombia, that you have this drug, Mexico and all these places, they have all these drug cartels that they can fish you out from anywhere. If you go under witness protection, you know that you are. In fact, they take some of them to America for protection, just to make sure that the cartel cannot get to them. Do you understand? You see, I think Nigeria, all of us are in such a deep hole that I don't think Nigerians can help Nigeria. I think we might need another form of colonialism. We need the West to help us, or the East. Even if it is Russia or China or America or UK, we need help, because we have sunk in so deep that what we are practicing, there is no way we can cleanse of ourselves the mess we are in. Somebody will have to help us wash our back, wash our bum, wash ourselves, because we are such a mess that even the water we are supposed to wash ourselves is muddy and everything. We are too dirty. We are too messed up. We are too corrupt to our gene, to our bone marrow. When I watch this series, I like to watch intelligent movies. I don't have time for fictions or Telemundo or what do you call it, cartoons or all these romance. I don't watch it. I watch intelligent movies. I watch realistic movies. I watch action movies, trailers, story of intelligence, of action, of how the police respond, all of those kind of things. And when you watch this series, you see that the lawyers, the prosecutors, the attorney general, the DA's office, these are things that will be mentioned. These are people who are actioning. There are times something we have to go from the state police level, go to the SWAT team. Sometimes you have to go to the FBI level, and somebody will say, okay, this is not in your limit anymore. This is not my case. It has gone higher. There's time frames. If a case lasts one and so, federal people will come and take over. If it's a federal case, it's a federal case. You have to drop it if you're a state level. There is a sheriff, and sheriff is like a small town, and there is state like New York police, and then you have federal like FBI. So all these things, we don't have it in Nigeria. So I don't even know what we even copied. I don't understand what we copied. We don't have state attorney. We don't know. We have all those titles, but they are not doing anything. You can go to a particular state, get the Chief Justice of the state, get the Attorney General of the state, and ask them, what have they prosecuted? Who have they prosecuted? And how many years? There is none. Otherwise, all these criminal elements that have been mentioned, that people know, all these things that make it to the media, nobody is seeing any arrest. They're still walking free. It's crazy. And you have a system like that. When you have a system like that, evil will continue to grow in that country. There is no savior coming to save Nigeria. I'm telling you, and there is no way we can go back to colonialism. We're in such a mess. The Mexican government, they use America. They will call them, say, come, we need you to arrest, because they know that the cartel is so powerful. I've watched some movies of narcos and all of that, so I know how it works. In these countries, they have solid departments. They have departments for sex trafficking. They have departments and they go with undercovers, deep-rooted covert operators and operatives. You will not know. They will deeply sit until they get the number one man. They always go for the head, because once you hit the head, everybody will scatter. Do you understand? They go for the big fishes. In Nigeria, this kind of blockbuster name and shaming, name calling that came out from that interview, I'm expecting an arrest. 24 hours and nothing has happened. Nothing. Because we don't even have a prosecutor. We don't even have a system in Nigeria. People have been saying that the Greek prison are filled up with innocent people. That's the mess we're in Nigeria. In Colombia, in elsewhere, once they have issues that is bigger than them, they will call the narcos, the narcotics of America. America will send them their agents, and they will come. Most of the narcos drug lords or drug pins are in prison in America. Most of them that come from all those South America, like all these Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, and these are the worst places to govern, because drugs drugs go with guns, and it's very, very difficult. That's why P2B is telling you that he has studied so many countries that Nigeria is not as difficult as. Yes, Nigeria have drug, Nigeria have all these Yahoo and all the rest. But the biggest problem is that we don't have the political will. And that is what Chief Okoi Obono-Obla said. That we don't have the political will. You have 10 people working and 90 people trying to destroy it. You have 10% trying to fix the country. You have 90% trying to run the country down. All they want is their personal gain. So we're in a very, very big mess. I don't know the psychology or the training of our lawyers. Our lawyers are probably trained to probably go do maritime law, family law, or what do you call it, political law. And in political law, all they are waiting for is election. Go to litigations, win cases, and then be bragging at their barrister. None of them know how to do criminal law. None of them know how to work in prosecution, in DA's office, in Attorney General's office. This Chief Okoi Obono-Obla is the closest I've seen to somebody who has the powers to prosecute. But at the end of the day, he was sabotaged by the same APC, by the same office of the presidency that put him there to work. And he was ruffled out by Malami, who was the Attorney General. So the same people you put to chase crime are the crime themselves. How then will you fix Nigeria? We're in a hopeless, extremely hopeless situation in Nigeria.